And we're live.
Oh, thank you. We are live once again. Yes, and we are all back together. Finally, the Lonely Marks. We are here to talk some wrestling. We're here. It's time. The 2023 Lonelies, the most prestigious wrestling awards show on YouTube.
Everyone's tuning in tonight.
They're all tuning in. They can't wait to see JPO win Heel of the Year. That's been heavily rumored. So we'll see if that comes
put me in charge.
But before we get to that, we will also briefly touch on World's End, the final AEW show of the year. Before we get into that, we're all here, and so big thank you to Austin and Richie who held it down for the month of December. But now, we are all back, and so let's just we'll jump into it. Austin, how's it going?
Yeah, I can't believe you guys didn't want to watch Starrcade 95 with us and like a random Velocity episode and, all the other stuff we watched. You didn't want to do that with us? Just, killing time. It was fun. No, we had a good time. Just talking retro shows. Me and Richie like to do that. So it was fun. But yeah, getting back to some current events. And I'm looking forward to seeing what JPO said. He's got some graphics. I like graphics. You like graphics? I like graphics.
Yeah, he is in charge of the
see some graphics.
Himself in charge, so
yeah.
He only knows who won, and it's going to be a surprise for all of us. I can't wait. Another guy I'm sure can't wait either. Richie, how's it going?
Like a movie in 1998, I can't hardly wait.
I was about to say, wait until not in 2005.
Yeah,
no points.
You had an extra eye in there. That doesn't count.
I did a Christmas. I did a Christmas. Or not.
Also, I know JPO does like end of the year trivia. So if there's a Meg 2 question, remember it's just Meg 2. It's not the Meg 2.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it's Meg 2 the trench. So you're still incorrect, Jacob.
Jacob, you just reminded me. I gotta write that and make that happen.
Oh,
totally not have done that.
Yeah. So maybe JPO might win Heel of the Year if you go by his comments on the Florida.
But why is everybody blaming JPO? Everybody who submitted stuff.
I know.
That's my favorite. Submit your votes and then yell at me.
Blame the guy.
Go the way you want.
I think you're a misunderstood babyface. Okay, that's what I think.
I'm a very polarizing figure in Florida wrestling right now because some people respect me for it and other people don't get it and hate me.
Hey, you got the balls to do it, when nobody else would. So props to you, JPO.
I've always thought the PWI 500 was misunderstood because I always took it as like just a way to like learn about new people and like, oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. Like people take that to heart, you know what I mean? Like, oh, fucking Kenny Omega's only number 3. Well, they got fucking Roman as 1. Like whatever, just So that's the same thing with here. Like it's a way to kind of show all the different talent and are the people in the 90s you could say should be in the top 10s? Probably. Well, they just didn't get the votes this year. I don't know.
Yeah. So, the man that put together all the graphics for our awards tonight, JPO. How's it going?
Doing just fine.
Completely, crapped on for your Florida 100.
Not completely crapped on. As I said, some people respect it, and we're only halfway there too. Like we're not even halfway there. So yeah.
I had a few people that showed up on your list so far. I'm like, they're still working in Florida. I must be out of the loop.
Who was that?
Jethro still working?
Yeah.
Oh,
actually, okay. Jethro debuts for RPW next Friday. We just made that happen.
I ref for that guy a lot in like 2011 vintage. So
I gotta say he's probably one of the last few. Like Simon Says just came back.
Yeah, right. I ref a lot for Simon. I know.
Tweedle just retired. I think Hound Dog's still around. Torture kinda. Not many.
Hound Dog was just getting started when I ref for him. He was like green.
His son's wrestling now. That's why he's kind of back in the thick of it now because he's tagging with his son.
Yeah.
Florida wrestling indie news. Are you excited, Jacob?
There used to be a Florida indie wrestling message board. Anybody remember that?
Hey.
Back in the day?
FloridaIndies.com.
Yeah, I should bring it back.
But we're not here just to talk Florida, although we are here to talk about a promotion that was based in Florida for quite a while, actually, with AEW. Yes, segues.
I forgot what you meant.
Daly's Place, baby.
Oh, it's
Daly's
like
Place.
NXT, or, I mean,
It's World's End, which I think we actually, for the first time, all watched a pay-per-view together. So that was nice. Next time we'll just have to go live.
Legally, by the way.
Legally,
I purchased these
legally.
pay-per-views. We just watch them together.
I
gotta
did
do
miss the
it
first
legally.
quarter. I missed the first quarter, so I'll join about match 4 or 5.
Yeah, right. I don't think we're going to talk about like every single match, but yeah, we'll talk about the
Right.
main, the main happenings on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean,
What's Germania the pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's good that Matthew's gonna have a whole episode about World's End. I'm pretty sure there was some heavy budgets in almost every match on that show. You could do a whole video about. Yeah, there was some rough ones.
starting in the pre-show where that first match had to, I think the finish, they had to do it 2 or 3 times before.
God, Willow had to try to hit that doctor bomb like 3 times, and even the ref was just like, "Yeah, no, do it again, kick out and do it again."
Yeah,
it was pretty rough.
Yeah, so she goes for the, I think the second time she goes for a doctor bomb, her and Chris fall on top. Chris falls on top of her, and then I think Nigel tries to save it by going, "Oh, she hit a leg drop." And like, no, but then Willow tries to pin, and then Riff's like, "Dude, don't pin after that. That looks rough." And she's like, "Okay, just try and do it again." It still looks a bit rough, but it was something. And then she got the pin and won. So yeah.
I mean, I think the match was decent up until that point.
Up to that point,
it was like,
Yeah,
I mean, they gave it some time. It was a 13-minute, kickoff match, which was pretty good. It got almost as much time as the Battle Royal did, which featured 20 people. And I think that one, the result there, I don't know if it felt obvious to other people, but it was like, yeah, kill switch.
What a coincidental battle royal. Like, that's all I gotta say. Is like, what if this battle didn't happen? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what a coincidental. Oh, look, Christian's boy wins.
Right.
Hmm.
But I mean, last eliminating Trent Beretta, who now is spoilers for Dynamite if people haven't watched it yet, but he will be challenging Eddie Kingston on Collision for the new Continental Championship. So maybe it's a push. I don't know. Maybe it's
I'm so confused by that, just because it's like, I don't know, like you're already establishing it as a very mid cut, and I don't.
Jesus, Richie, why do you hate Trent?
I like Trent, but he is where he is. and also it's like, I don't know, like what, like
it's the first TV title defense. I don't think you're gonna make him against.
No, but they also haven't done a good job explaining like what happens with the Ring of Honor title, like because they basically said, "Oh, Trent wins this, he wins all 3 titles." Okay, so like, is Ring of Honor going to ever be separate? I don't know.
Well, they're not going to answer that. Like, we got to get over the fact that they're not answering that until maybe they'll answer when they answer it, kind of thing. Like, they're never going to directly say. Right now, everything's under one umbrella.
Yeah, back to the battle. I think the win was also telegraphed when they decided to bury Killswitch under tables and then not do anything with him. Like, I mean, I know it's just wrestling. You got to suspend disbelief sometimes, but why not have everybody attack him and then throw him in the ring so you could throw him out?
Yeah, were they just hoping he'll never wake and they could just maybe finish the match? I guess.
Right. Like, like it was obvious, but like, don't telegraph it like that, please. But I mean, the battle royal, it was what it was. We finally, and then the final match on the pre-show, Hook defeated Wheeler Yuta by submission.
I forgot everything that happened in this match. What happened again?
Yeah, me too. Like Hook won, and that was it.
Yeah. This was one where like he had the FTW like trash can.
FTW rules.
Oh yeah, that one hurt more because it said FTW on it. That's right.
FTW on it. He I mean, I think they were portraying Wheeler as a bit of a geek. Like, he came out, kind of really generic heel promo on the.
He couldn't even get heat with the promo that every heel cuts of "Your town sucks and I hate being here" promo. That's the most generic heel promo you can ever do. Is you either bag on just being here makes me sick or local sports team boo.
Well, I was actually going to say the funny thing about Mariah May, she literally cut it after Tony Storm already cut it. Like in the
Yeah,
back,
right.
Tony Storm was like New Jersey, and Brian May was like New Jersey. I'm like, all right, so guess that's just what we're doing.
I wanted to get
But
involved.
for real, New Jersey guys, all right.
New Jersey. No. But yeah, no, that was the pre-show. I mean, it was fine. I don't think it sold anyone on buying the pay-per-view. Like I get what people are saying. Like it's weird. Like it's not selling your show. People who are going to want to watch the show
They've already bought the show.
They've already bought it. I did mention while we were watching though, I think it'd be fun one time just to have like that final match not end until like the beginning moments of the pay-per-view. And like maybe see if it would boost sales or something.
You want to see how this ends? Fucking buy it.
Yeah.
It also will make it seem realistic too. Like, oh, we knew this shit was gonna go this long, but oh well.
Right.
Like, or if you had like a let's say you had somebody debuting or some surprise person, and it was like this person versus a mystery opponent, and like you bring out the first person on the pre-show, and then you reveal who it is right as the pre-show, like whoever they're gonna fight, and it's like a big surprise, and then you go, oh no, if you want to see him in action, you got to buy the pay-per-view, or something like that, to that degree, or something like that might at least be intriguing.
But as we talked about too, it's like I don't know, like because I was under until they announced it, I was under the impression that maybe this would be for the pure title, because like they've got to decide whether they care about the FTW title or not. No one cares. Like do we really need the FTW title around? Just like, I mean, it could
all 22 titles mean something, Richie.
It's cool for Hook as a prop. Just make it a prop.
Well, that's what it was for Taz and ECW. It was a prop. He got sick of being screwed around with like the ECW title or whatever. So he's like, screw it, I'm gonna make my own belt and walk around with it and say I'm the best. Like that was the gimmick. And now it's like, yeah, his kid has the gimmick. Okay.
His kid has the gimmick, and I think I said this on the pre-show or our pre-show before the pay-per-view. This was the first defense since All In, so that's August, and then December. So yeah, obviously it's a whatever.
But and Hook's first defense, because he won it back, didn't he? He won it back from Jungle. He won it back from Jack Perry.
Yeah, he's at 131 days, and yeah, you're right. This is his first defense in 131 days.
Oh, so he's just like Roman Reigns. Yeah. So he's doing pretty good. He's doing pretty good.
Which, by the way, before we get to our Lonelies, there's something in that was very exciting that happened this week. But yeah, when we get to the
exciting for some people, if you're Cody Rhodes, not terribly exciting.
Not so much. You are not going to finish your story this year, probably. Unless, I guess we could, since I brought it up.
But if we said he's going to finish the story, we never said when he was going to finish the story. It could be 5 years from now.
Unless that's the Elimination Chamber match.
Right.
I feel like
it seems like a WrestleMania match, but they have done big matches on B-level pay-per-views before. So it's not outside the realm of possibility, and I feel like maybe they just want to do something for Australia. But
there's a rumor that the Perth tourism government, there's like, if we're having it here, do we get could we potentially get The Rock? And I guess it could be like, I just feel like that'd be I don't know. You say that stuff for WrestleMania, I feel like, but
but at the same time, it's like you want to sell shows, you want to sell tickets, and you want to make it big. Although I don't think anybody in America is watching that show live. We will.
Because it'll be like,
we will all watch it play.
That show will be like in the middle of the night for us or something like that.
Yeah. I'll watch it in the morning and I'll tell you how it is.
Yeah, right. Which, by the way, I don't know what you guys are talking about. All The Rock said was he was going to sit at the head of a very long table at Applebee's or something. He didn't say anything about fighting Roman Reigns. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It started off so weird. Yeah. He was like, I'm going to go eat dinner. Should I sit in the booth? And I'm like, okay, Rock, just because you're The Rock doesn't mean that you can just say whatever you want. And then he gets to the head, and I'm like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
I was a bit worried about him potentially having a match, because after he did that thing with Jinder, he was a bit blown up.
He was a little blown up. Might have to get back in the gym there, Rock. Work on your cardio a little bit. Can't get blown up from people's elbow and expect to do a 20-minute match.
Yeah, he doesn't skip arm or leg day, but you can't skip.
I did like the fake out though. Here's your former WWE champion.
Well, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Yeah.
You can hear the crowd just all side at the same time, and then then they show a clip later, and Samantha Irvin was all of us.
Quick side note: camera work's been a lot better since Kevin Dunn left this company. By the way, so, I at least appreciate that. There's no somebody even posted a thing on one of the Reddit like wrestling pages, like this cool camera thing they did. It was like following John Cena or something like that, and it was all just like a one shot thing. And I was like, oh, thank God they're not doing this schizophrenic cutting anymore. I'm sure Triple H wanted to get rid of that, but until Kevin Dunn left, he can't, because Kevin Dunn was like the head of the camera crew and all that. And now that he's gone, it's like, let's calm it down, people. It's fine to just have 3 cameras and just cut back and forth occasionally. It's fine. We're not going to die.
Yeah. So,
anyways,
but yeah, back to World's End. Pez, what's something from the main show that kind of
yeah, I mean, it's like the undercard was like okay. The 8-man tag with Sting, it was like all right for a little while. Sting got a little lost at the end. You can kind of tell where he was going back and forth, but they still did all their spots, gave the people what they wanted. We all figured Sting is not going to lose in this lead up to Revolution. His final match, he's going to get his moments. He's kind of on his I guess retirement tour or whatever you want to call it, and they're going to give him his moments. I think we were all disappointed that, the real story that we'll never get the conclusion, Swerve and Keith Lee became Swerve and Dustin Rhodes, which actually, it's weird. Yeah, they ended up having a match when we thought, the angle that they started to do at the beginning was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Swerve is pissed off. He's just going to hurt Dustin. That wouldn't hurt Dustin, character-wise. Right. It's just him, but they ended up having like a 10-minute match anyways, which I mean,
in my opinion, one of the better matches on the card.
One of the better matches. I mean, still not bad. And I mean, near the end, holy shit, Swerve kicked the shit out of him in the head several times and really put the boots to him. But even then, if they had just done the angle where Swerve is pissed off because maybe saying Keith Lee, backed out of the match, he's a coward, whatever, that still would have worked for the character. And right. I think you could have done that, and I think people would have been okay with it. But yeah, they ended up having still a little decent match there. Swerve, I still contend, is the guy with the most momentum that should be champion at some point, definitely in 2020. I don't know when exactly, but at some point 2024, I think he'll be champion. He'll have that belt.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At some point. So yeah, just a matter of when. So he's hot. Yeah, Miro Andrade was all right. Again, I'm having a hard time remembering some of these undercard matches because it was like, they were decent, but nothing.
The thing about that Miro Andrade match is like, why did CJ Perry immediately turn on Andrade? Unless Andrade is on his way out of the company, I don't know how
he might be. I think he's been another one of those guys that's rumored to have his contract coming up too. So, and I think he would be one of those guys that would contend that he hasn't been used very much, and neither has Miro to a degree.
Andrade, he's left. He put out a thing.
Oh, he's gone. Okay, so that's why.
Now it makes sense.
So that makes sense. But I could see him going back now that Triple H is back. I could see him going back to WWE. They could use him, and I, maybe he had a better relationship with Triple H than he did with Vince. They used him pretty well in NXT. Yeah, Charlotte's there, so it would make sense, to be there with his wife. So that would make sense. And, or even just be with her while she's hurt, which that would make sense because, she's going to be out for a while. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised about that. And, yeah, he could be used better elsewhere, I'm sure, because he's a name guy.
Yeah. I loved how they put out that Charlotte was out for 9 months and everyone just assumed she was pregnant. Like, she's going to be out a lot longer than 9 months if she's pregnant.
Yeah, there would be, because
oh yeah, baby's born. Yep, see ya.
Yeah. All right, mommy's going back to work now.
Yeah, because Becky was out for longer than her pregnancy, because there's this thing called maternity leave. Yeah, there's maternity leave after the fact where you still got a new baby you have to take care of.
Alexa Bliss has had her baby for a couple months now, I think. So that's another one I think could show up at the Rumble too, by the way. Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss, the baby.
Yeah, the baby.
Not with the baby.
I'm ready for Triple H's daughter or something to make her debut in the
Rumble. Bryan Danielson's daughter will be attacked.
But speaking of the females, I guess we can kind of quickly talk about. We had the two, female matches, Julia Hart and Abaddon, which apparently I looked up something said biting was legal in that match. Like that was a thing. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it says
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that. And house rules was biting is legal. Okay.
I guess maybe somebody get to choose a stipulation, and that was hers.
Yeah.
There's what they chose.
While I will contend, and this will carry over to what we talked about later on, I could say that Julia Hart's improved dramatically. And I like Abaddon. This match is boring.
Yeah, I don't even really remember much about this match.
The Tony Storm match was better just because she's got more character to her, so it's fun to watch her. I don't think a single person in that building or watching thought Riho had a chance of winning this match, but at the same time, it's like, they're still good workers, and Tony is still fun to watch, with her gimmick and everything, and I definitely put her may or may not have put her down for breakout star of the year just because of that. Because I think she's had a hell of a since she got that character, you know what I mean? Like really breaking out from just being another wrestler on the roster, to sometimes a character change can make you a breakout star. I always consider that.
This week on the Dynamite, Renee Paquette asked, "Oh, are you going to stick around to watch Mariah May's match, the third kind of," and she's like, "Why would I watch wrestling?" It's like, it's like, I'm in New Jersey. I thought I was going to New York. I'm going to Broadway. That was great.
Mariah May's match, which then featured the debut of Deonna Purrazzo.
Deonna Purrazzo is in AEW now, which is cool. She's great. But yeah, like I guess to top it off the Julia Hart thing, it was kind of boring as it is, and then like, oh cool, she can do a moonsault, and she fucked it up. Then it was a big botch where I think she landed on her feet before before she got there, or overshot her, and she overshot Abaddon, and they just pinned her anyway. And but yeah, I don't see them taking the title off either like Julia or Toni Storm anytime soon because they're into both women a lot. But yeah, they're what they are. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. I think Abaddon hasn't been established as much as a character. Like they're very hot and cold with her in terms of pushing her. Yeah, like as a result, it's like it's hard for the crowd to get behind her when like they barely see her on TV. They only just started to use her, so maybe eventually, you get some continuation in that regard where they're on TV enough where you're like, oh, cool, you can establish rapport with the crowd. But yeah.
Yeah. So how do we feel about the TNT title match?
Well, it was a pretty good match that will be remembered for the two things that happened at the end of the match instead of the actual match, because the two things that are going to be remembered for this are the botch with Nick Wayne that was all over the internet pretty much immediately, when that should have been the simplest spot you could possibly do with a table. All he had to do was take a back bump on the table, and he overshoots it and rolls off. And yeah,
well, there was two botches essentially because he had to relight the table because they took too long and it burnt out, and so he relit it, and then he goes for and then he sort of goes for a power bomb. Like, okay, cool, yeah. I think so. Initially, it wouldn't surprise me if initially they're going to go for a spear or something, but like the table lit, the table is fizzed out, so they're going for a power bomb, and then he just sort of flew over top of it. Oh god damn it! On this show,
tipped over, and then the crowd just collectively laughed. Not great. And then you actually get what was it? Copeland hitting the kill switch. The kill switch on Crit and getting the match, which giving me and Jacob the win on the predictions, by the way, because we won. He won the actual match that was advertised, and then apparently what Lucha won was a Money in the Bank type thing where we can cash it in anytime we want to, which that wasn't.
I didn't think it was established.
That wasn't established at all, but okay.
Yeah, speaking of coincidental, one was it established, and two, it's never been established. Like even in years past, have they ever done something like this?
When they decided to give him a contract instead of a ring or whatever that they prop.
And as I think Corey pointed out when I watched it, Corey C4, friend of the show, I think, So I mean, we'll get to it. If all he had to do was, if anyone could sign it, why didn't someone just take the, when he was holding up the contract?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, Tony
Why
Khan,
doesn't someone just
as
feel
you might
rich?
see with some of the award nominations for worst angle later, sometimes this shit doesn't track, buddy. Your shit don't track.
And also, don't two people have to sign a contract?
I mean, I guess you
How does
can
that
maybe
work?
get away with that, like as in like, hey, like you get a shot at the title, like fuck whoever has the title. Like,
But yeah, in wrestling, I don't think contracts are that like that go through a legal process or null and void. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's funny because if you do a normal contract signing, both people sign it.
Well, yeah, but the Money in the
Okay.
Bank thing, the other person doesn't have to sign it. You just come out and cash it in. Like it's not.
yeah, that's true.
It's just assumed. But then again, that's established that as soon as that person wins that,
Yeah,
they can cash it in at any time.
Yeah.
Ever when that other person is in the ring or in the vicinity or whatever. So yeah, but this one was not established at just like the Money in the Bank of like, oh, we can just cash it in the same night, whenever.
I'm also
Yeah.
just over it, man. TNA has done it. What was I gonna say? Now AEW has done it. WWE obviously still does it. I'm over it with the cash-ins. It's cheap heat that we've seen now 100 times. Every indie's done it. Like, get over it.
We even did
over
it. We
when,
did it in
Damon-
United Pro in Georgia. We
Has-
did a cash in.
Has RPW done it? It wasn't
Yeah.
my call. I swear I fought it.
We did one. We
But,
did one
I mean,
where we screwed over John Davis twice in one night. JVO. He lost 2 titles in about the span of 5 minutes. So because
For that dude.
yeah,
But he was the RVD. But that wasn't in 5 minutes. So I was going to say, remember that time RVD lost both his titles in a week. But but yeah, no. I mean, I prefer. I guess because they're the first sort of ones to do it. I prefer just to be kind of did something, but to do it because it's it's their baby and it's kind of Money in the Bank's a big thing. But yeah, when everyone sort of catches onto it, it kind of loses its steam.
or just they teased it with Damian so many times with him almost cashing in like multiple times now as an angle, in a match at a pay-per-view, that it's like you're gonna lose that heat that you had, building up to it, that people aren't gonna believe it anytime it pops out now. So when he actually does do it, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, I guess he did do it this time.
They teased it literally on Raw.
Yeah, day
Right.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to quit doing that. At that point, it gets to cheap heat.
Also, I know I'm going back, but I just looked it up. I thought this was funny. The FTW title has lasted probably triple the amount of time it lasted before. It was around for about a year in ECW. It's been here for almost 4 now. It's debuted in 2020.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how much longer I can believe that Christian has this sort of power over Luchasaurus. Like Luchasaurus could just drop him whenever he wanted to. And
I think they're building to it.
I'm ready for it. Well, I think they've built it almost too
Yeah.
long. I think it's been almost too slow though. Like that should have been the moment where he no, I won this. This is mine. And then
They did the classic heel thing on Dynamite where it's like, I'd like to thank Mama Wayne. I'd like to thank the prodigy Nick Wayne, and most importantly, and I'll tell Luchasaurus, I'd like to thank myself. And it completely ignored. And then people chanting Luchasaurus, thinking he's going to do something, and he didn't. But like the camera, and they make a point that the camera, like he's like Luchasaurus is right, behind him, like looming over him. So it's like, okay, they're going to do the blow off here soon. But I don't know. I don't feel like that's a big pay-per-view blow-off match, to be honest. We'll see what happens.
You know what they should do? They should do this thing where he gives him a thumbs up and then he gives him a thumbs down. That would be cool.
I don't think you have to. I don't think the blow off has to be like a pay-per-view. I don't know, but like I could see it
maybe one of their TV special things.
Or,
Maybe Battle of the Belts.
Special, yeah. Battle of the Belts 23.
Isn't every other Dynamite like a special Dynamite at this point?
It's
a something thing.
Remember when they did Beach Break in January?
Yeah.
That was.
I mean, it's hot somewhere, I guess. I don't know.
It's hot here. It's fucking hot here.
Sure. Yeah.
Apparently, I was the only one who had faith in John Moxley becoming the first Continental Champion.
Yeah, you shouldn't have.
I did because it's John Moxley, and it's almost, other than the match with Orange Cassidy at the last pay-per-view, he wins.
Well, I think we all lost a prediction on this one because nobody bled, which was shocking. In a match where the idea for them to beat the shit out of each other, nobody bled at all. Neither one of them did. That was weird. So
No, I'm
I
sure
think you'll be
JPO knows the
understanding,
answer to
Jacob.
this.
Eddie Kingston needed to finish his story. So,
Oh, right.
yeah.
I'm sure JPO knows the answer to this. I haven't followed their careers very much outside of these two promotions. I'm sure they've wrestled before, right?
in CCW, yeah.
Are all their matches like this where it feels like, hey, let's just make it look like we're actually fighting, and
yeah,
it I don't know, for some reason, like for me personally anyway, it didn't look very good. Like it looked sort of real, but at the same time I was like, I'm not liking this very
They've
much.
actually only had one singles match. It was for ICW, actually, a company in New York, and then two mixed matches in CZW. So they really haven't had that many matches beforehand. And I feel like Moxley's turned it up even more these last few years as far as being like a direct brawler. I feel like if you watch his older stuff, he was, besides like the weird death matches he did just occasionally, he was kind of like I don't know, he wasn't as brawly as he is now.
Yeah, and you would think their styles would go pretty well together, but for some reason, I don't know if something was just off, but it didn't work for me personally.
They wrestled each other before on AEW pay-per-view, Full Gear 2020, I believe, or 2021. It was like a chain. Was it a chain? It was an ODQ, I believe. It was it was for the AEW Championship. Yeah, if you look it up.
That's right. I didn't watch that pay-per-view. I forgot about that one, but yeah.
I quit match. It's just an I quit match.
Yeah, I quit match. Yeah, I knew it was some stipulation.
I know that now. I didn't know that in the 2 trivia matches I got that question in, but whatever.
But yeah, I mean, I think this could have. I mean, I don't know. I liked it, but I think I can understand your disappointment in it. But yeah, I do think I think this brawling style works. I think, but like proper you've seen in the past, like proper MMA. in wrestling doesn't work. If we did like a worst matches of the year, there's probably one that would stick out, and it was like that: Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, because I know what you're talking
about. But yeah, but any time like Jake Hager would do stuff like that, they'd get Jake Hager to do something like that. Just MMA, did stuff with Bellator. It's like I don't think MMA and when they try to incorporate that in wrestling doesn't work. So. But brawling, I don't know. I thought it was all right, but yeah, I think they could have gone a bit harder, I guess. But yeah, I was expecting more kind of extreme, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, I liked it for what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pez, JB, any thoughts on the?
No, I mean, it was fine, but it kind of just left me a little cold. I didn't think it was like I've seen better matches this year where 2 guys just beat the shit out of each other, and other matches, even involving those 2 guys. So, Eddie takes a lot from other wrestlers as far as his move set and what he does. He tries to do the Kobashi machine gun chop thing and just doesn't come off as good. It always looks a little weird when he does it. I mean, it's not bad. He's got his style, the way he works, and he works well with some people and not well with other people. But is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed both matches from both of these guys throughout the year, but this one for whatever reason just didn't hit for me. JPO.
I could see there being an audible call too. Like this is right after the crazy, tables and flames, so they're maybe just want to have more of a straightforward wrestling match, which has kind of been what this tournament is. So maybe that might have been the call,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that and what a good tournament. We didn't even mention Daniel Garcia picking up the pin in that big 8-man between not all the other guys, but 8 of the other guys that were in the tournament. And and then Daniel Garcia and Swerve Strickland had a match on Dynamite that was pretty decent. So
and him and Prince Nana had a dance.
Of course they did, because why wouldn't they? why wouldn't they? So
that's right.
I think that's a good main event to kick off the year with.
I actually reckon this like at the end of this year, we could be talking about like Daniel Garcia as one I think he's gonna have a good year. I'll put it that way.
I think he is the one that will end up taking the international championship, or whatever it's called, off of Orange Cassidy and going on a pretty decent run with it. And I could see him taking Wheeler Yuta's spot. I mentioned this on when we were watching the pay-per-view, but I could see him taking Wheeler Yuta's spot in the Blackpool Combat Club.
I think it's Roddy. I think Roddy's gonna take it off Orange.
That's yeah. Also, Matt Menard on commentary, pretty decent.
He did dark. He did dark elevation.
Yeah.
Was a thing, and he's pretty funny.
They definitely seem to be grooming. Yeah, they've been grooming him for a bit. Like I said, going back to dark and elevation, and yeah, they've been even now on main TV. So I think it's definitely something that if they're grooming him for, and he could definitely transition into, because yeah, it's been a thing for a minute.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, no, he did pretty good. He was like, he needs to stay on.
I mean, he got my nipples hard. What about you guys?
Nope. My nipples were just
Do you ever get it where like just the left is hard and you're like, that's weird?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Then you try to like poke them to make them soft again, and it's like it's not working. You know, it's yeah, I don't know.
By the way, speaking of Brian, I guess speaking of like Blackpool Combat Club, Brian Danielson had apparently a really good match with Okada at Wrestle Kingdom that just happened. Like you know,
and Dolph Ziggler debuted.
And Nick Net, yeah.
Dolph Ziggler debuted, and apparently for one night only, for the Japan thing, Marina Shafir is going to be in the Blackpool Combat Club, which I wouldn't mind going forward. I think she fits. So
she fits the character. Do I want?
Yeah, but just don't have her cut promos. So.
But yeah, also too, if you haven't, so it's like only 3 minutes. Really cool, like stylized Nick Nemeth like intro video.
Yeah,
just his return.
Didn't see that, but I saw that he posted it. And
yeah, it's like him and zombies, and it's like a weird, just short. Kind of similar, like Moon Moxley did, like his at like the bar, and he's like getting into fights. Kind of similar to that. Like it's just a stylized, like, hey, don't forget I'm fucking around.
And finally, we have a new AEW World Champion.
Yes, we do. Always bet against MJF.
Always bet. It's going to pay off.
It finally paid off.
Apparently, MJF got so ticked off that if you actually go to AEW's official website, he's not even listed as part of the roster anymore. Who knows what that's about?
I think it's just a storyline thing because
I'm sure it is, but
remember, it's the great contract or the great open freedom of 2024. However you word it.
War of 2024.
Thank you.
But
yeah. I mean, I would say MJF is still balls. Like he was going into this match legitimately injured, and he still took a muscle bust from the fucking apron because he's a.
I was not the biggest fan of his in the first half of the year. The last half of the year, he kind of won me over, and
he's had good performances in these last couple of matches, man. You had to admit his performance has been pretty good.
I think what my problem with him is that I think just all of his promos felt the same, and it felt like he was just yelling at the crowd, and then he just wouldn't wrestle very much. But these last few months, like, he's been in the ring a lot more, and he's been taking some really good bumps. You know, he's been actually, diving out of the ring and stuff, and I think it's weird to say a guy who's been a champion for the majority of the year was on, like, would I actually consider him for like most improved or whatever? But like I was, just because I think he, started doing more. Like
you're the only human alive that would have voted for him for most improved.
I don't know why you're laughing, because I think he did. Like, I think he's added.
I think he was able to show more range. I don't say he improved. I think we got to see him as a face for the first time. He wrestled more.
And we don't know that he was able to do this stuff before, though, because we've never seen it.
I knew he could.
Yeah, but that's because you're on the inside.
I'm on the inside looking outside.
You've got inside knowledge that we don't. Okay.
You.
Stop flexing.
And
Can we
I know
talk?
what you,
Hey, getting back to the match, can we talk about how Bryce Remsburg sold it like he couldn't believe MJF dropped his
Did
arm 3
not like
times?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Did
was
not like
weird.
that.
And then had like hesitated for what seemed like forever before he actually called for the bell. That was weird.
Why would the ref
Why would the ref be
storyline-wise?
hesitating to do that? Because
Yeah.
he's the ref.
that's
Oh,
why I
no.
got confused. I was like, was this
Samoa Joe won? Like, why would the ref be that surprised?
Yeah.
That's why I was confused. I was like, was this a planned finish? What did?
Yeah. It made it look like he was, covering for something that was weird. Like if I'm ref in the match, if the arm drops 3 times, it's all right. That's it. Fucking, it's over. He's out. Like new champion. Like that's
There's
it.
one thing, like it's almost like he was
odd.
like surprised, but like storyline wise, why would you be? It's not like James Ellsworth defeated AJ Styles and the ref was like,
Right.
"Oh, that was fucking
This is
weird."
Samoa fucking Joe. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It's very much realistic that he could defeat Samoa.
that he could, and by the way, choke somebody out. He's done it many times before. Choke people out as a finish. That's what he does.
And choke someone out who is going into the match legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's very
It's
plausible.
legit that Samoa Joe could choke anybody out on that roster. He's Samoa Joe. Like, why? Yeah, why is that surprising? He's done it to dozens of people. Here, WWE, TNA, whatever. He's done it all over the place. Like that's what he does. Yeah, that shouldn't be surprised. That was weird.
Yeah, but and then we heard the reveal of the devil.
Finally.
No points to guessing, but yeah, Adam Cole. But yeah, it kind of makes sense in the long. I mean, like sometimes things that are obvious that aren't necessarily bad. Like you can get rewarded for paying attention sometimes. But I thought it was cool how like the henchmen, like obviously I kind of knew about the Kingdom and with Roddy Strong, but like it was cool that it makes sense that Wardlow's in there because he was coming after MJF and he was sort of doing a running joke about MJF is feuding with all these people, but it kind of makes a lot of sense now. So I mean, we'll see how where that it pans out. But yeah, it is interesting. Like so, they call the Undisputed King. It is interesting. And like Adam Cole comes out, does a really good promo on Dynamite, but then he goes, he's talking about what titles people are going to go after, and you see, Roddy's going to go after International, which makes you think. I agree. I think Roddy is going to beat Orange Cassidy down the line, but he says Wardlow is going to go after the AEW World Championship. But once I'm fit and healthy, Wardlow is going to do the right thing and relinquish a title to me and Nicole. I'm like, okay, so Wardlow's position in the Undisputed Kingdom is very temporary. He's going to be babyface.
He's the kill switch of.
But here's the thing though. Why wouldn't you help MJF keep the title, then sick Wardlow on MJF, who powerbombed MJF 5 times in a row and pinned him like a year ago and beat his ass? That would be the much easier way to get to that title. Now Wardlow has to fight Samoa Joe. That's weird, and a fully healthy Samoa Joe. That's odd.
What was your plan B if MJF won? Like, I hope Joe wins cleanly, and then we'll debut. Like, what was your plan B?
Well, they keep saying, "Oh, we cost MJF the title." No, you didn't. Samoa Joe won clean.
He went clean in the middle of the fucking ring. He choked him out on his own. Yeah, that's okay.
And of course, just to clarify too, Taven and Bennett are your Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions too.
Yeah, which I figure. Yeah, just but so I mean, I think it's just cool to see Samoa Joe, as a champion in 2023. I was disappointed that he wasn't. They never gave him the strap in WWE. I thought they were going to at one point when he was feuding with AJ. I thought he would have been a good champion, but it wasn't to be. I mean, it's cool he held the NXT title for a few times, but I thought he'd be a good main roster champion. But yeah, so it's cool. I thought he'd just be there as like a sort of a more of an upper mid card guy in AEW, considering his age and longevity and stuff. But it's kind of cool that he's.
I wouldn't have predicted him either to win the title.
But it could be like them giving him one kind of last run with the title, maybe before he kind of starts winding it down, which he could be. But he's over right now. Like he's reestablish himself as like that top guy, the believable dude. And anybody see his pieces of his press conference thing? I saw like a clip of it online where he was just like, I want to be that champion that doesn't sit here and whine and complain and make excuses. Swerve, you want some of this? I'll beat your ass. Wardlow, you want some of this? I'll beat the shit out of you too. Adam Cole, you eventually come here, I'll beat your ass too. Whoever you put in front of me, I'm gonna beat their ass and choke their ass out. Bring it. You bring whoever you want. I'll beat all your asses. Like it was great. It was perfect.
And he said he's going to throw that. Throw that. Is it the triple B belt? The belt, and so he's going. It's got a new strap. It's really subtle difference. It doesn't even look. It's just he's got the belt's got a new strap now, and it's got side plates. I like when belts have side plates because subtle side plates where it just got they change the side plates out to whoever the champion is. Like WWE does. So that's kind of cool. But I'm sure that at some stage the road's going to go back to maybe MJF or Adam Cole like being champion. But it's cool for now. I hope Samoa Joe kind of has it for a while, but I do hope maybe Swerve gets it to.
Well, that's what I mean. I think Joe and Swerve could have their own program eventually, and let MJF and Adam Cole kind of do all their stuff together, for a little while. Let Joe have a run, have a good program with somebody like Swerve. That could be fun because I think they can have some great matches. But
they also created a scenario where there's a lot of people like mad at Joe now. You could do like Samoa Joe, like Jay White, because Jay White got attacked, and Samoa Joe kind of was Samoa Joe I guess wasn't part of that then, but Samoa Joe orchestrated the attack on Adam Page. So you could do Samoa Joe and Adam Page at some point. You could do obviously you Swerve.
Joe could get in a beef with Blackpool Combat Club, have matches with Danielson or Moxley or anybody there or Claudio. Any of those guys have some good stuff there. So there's possibilities for some fresh stuff. I'm down.
Yeah.
All right, so Pez, what are you giving World's End out of 10?
It was weird, man. Like the last couple of shows were really good. This is one of the ones I was hoping would surprise me as far as like the last couple ones that I wasn't excited for and they kind of blew us away. Stuff like Full Gear, which kind of knocked our socks off with how good it was. No real match of the year contenders or anything here. No real like kind of even really 4 or 5 star matches. I think Adam Copeland and Christian could have been that. It was on its way, and then just had all that wonky stuff that I wasn't a fan of near the end. Again, I wasn't as high on this one. Like I said, I was even having trouble remembering some of this stuff, which I didn't have a problem with last time. This is like a 6 out of 10 territory. Nothing like horrible. I wasn't bored or anything. But yeah, nothing that really made it stand out as one of the better shows this year.
Yeah. JPO?
No, pretty much with him, man. Here, little some bit wonkiness here, but I think there was some several good things, a couple of missable things. It's right in that I didn't hate the fact of what I watched, but yeah, there's also a lot to be desired from a few different aspects. So 6.2.
Richie?
We're pulling Dave Portnoy. No even numbers. Got to
rookie score.
Rookie score. Sorry, 6.1. My apologies.
One by everyone knows the rules, Richard.
Yeah.
I'm in the sort of same camp here. It was pay-per-view that was there. I'm probably not going to remember much of it in the next couple of months, because I'm sure there's going to be so many better pay-per-views coming, even like the NXT specials coming here. Will probably be way better than this. But yeah, there's nothing like bad or anything. It's just unfortunate. Sometimes you get the pay-per-views where there's just a lot of like miscues and stuff, and then and so there's some wonkiness. I think maybe in the Sting tag match, I think it was a case of wonkiness, but also I think people put off by the the NDA Jericho chance as well as a bit. I think that was just a kind of a bit weird there, but I don't know. It's nothing blow away. I'm glad Samoa Joe got the title. I'm happy for Eddie Kingston too because I like Eddie Kingston. But yeah, they're nothing blow away. So yeah, I'd go around a 6.3. 6.
All right. Well, that makes mine easy because I'm closer to a 6 than I am a 6.5, so I can't go 6.4. So I'll go like a 5.
You can say like 6.15. You can go.
I'll go like a 5.9.
Yeah. We're getting very specific. That's what I'm gonna rate all my movies this year out of 10. Is like really specific decimal points. I'm gonna be like that one felt. Night Swim felt like a 5.721. It was.
That's a good way to put it, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, it is now time.
Lonelies.
The Lonely Marks probably present the 2020. Did we call it the Lonelies? I said that it was the Markies.
It's the Lonelies.
All right, well, I fucked up.
It's gonna be great though because this is I'm keeping it on the whole time. Wait, which one are what are these? What even?
Well, moving on anyway to the. Hey, all right.
The
So
Markies.
the Lonely Marks proudly present the 2024 Lonely Markies Award with special appearances by Jacob Barber, Austin Pez Howell, Richie Nemo Goodacre, Jordan Pierce Owens, and Fantasio.
So if it was my stream, I could play the Oscar video.
Ooh, we're starting off hot.
Oh,
We're off with Match of the Year. Nominees include Hangman Adam Page versus Horace Strickland from Full Gear, Dijak versus Ilya Dragunov from Battleground, Drew McIntyre versus Gunther versus Sheamus from WrestleMania, Omega versus Ospreay from Forbidden Door, and Mike Bailey versus Will Ospreay from Impact Love from Bound for Glory. What do you guys think?
I think that some of those things are on my list. I know. I think, yeah. I mean, like it was hard to whittle it. It was hard to whittle it down to 5. Honestly, there's a lot of ones I could have picked here. But yeah, I just honestly for pure surprisement and then just how you reacted, I would probably go towards Adam Page and Swerve, but it wouldn't shock me if it's it wouldn't shock me if it's Omega Ospreay, but I personally would go at Adam Page and Swerve.
Pez?
what am I commenting on?
I don't know. So what do you think? What do you think? The nominees, who do you think actually got it?
Oh well, 4 out of these 5 were ones I nominated as well, so no surprise. Like I'm glad to see other people were probably on the same page as me at least. But yeah, if I was also to go what I think everybody said and what I personally said, I think Swerve and Adam Page, for how much it kind of blew everybody away and was a big talking point, immediately after it happened, and people were still kind of talking about that match. I would go with that as well.
Robert?
Yeah, I think we're kind of giving it away by doing this. Because,
fuck it, we'll just go through these. I don't know.
No. I like what you're doing, JPO. I like what you're doing.
No, because I think it's just this one specifically, because I would also think it would be Swerve and Page. We did these during the match, and it's one that we kind of gushed about when we recapped the show. But I think all 5 of these are great choices. I think the only one I have that's different is I had FTR versus Bullet Club Gold over Dijak and Dragunov, although that would be probably in that 6 to 10 range because that was also a really good match. So I'm hoping for a Swerve Page win, but who knows? You were in charge, so you could just say no.
What do you think of these? What do you think of these lists before you reveal the thing?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. These are all great matches here. Like I said, I think there's some ones that had a lot of crossover. There's this one, like I said, there's a couple different options here. Bullet Club Gold. That was a great tag team match. But Richie, you were right. The second time at the Mega vs. Ospreay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I had the death match maybe lower than some of you guys. Yeah, because I like more of a regular singles match.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everyone had this nominated, right? Everyone at least had
this nominated. I did have the second.
I think we all had this nominated. Yeah, I had it at least
top 3.
So yeah, second, third. So yeah.
But just quickly, how many people actually saw the Mike Bailey, the Will Ospreay? And did you see it? Did you?
I didn't see it in time to nominate it. I know Jacob told me about it, but I didn't get a chance to watch
I watched it before I sent in my nominations.
Oh, that's great.
If it's nominated, at least most time than not, it's at least 2, if not 3 to 4 of us nominated.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't know. Is Ospreay being nominated twice for a match of the year? Does that lead towards him maybe being male wrestler of the year? We'll find out.
First, we got breakout star of the year: Damian Priest, LA Knight, Swerve, Trick, Vikingo. Pez?
No, I had a couple of these on my list. This one's harder to call. I don't know what everybody, what order people had these in, but yeah, I think these are ones. Yeah, I definitely nominated people like LA Knight and Trick, who really surprised me watching a couple of his NXT shows, how over he's gotten. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think Vikingo is one of those guys who, because of the highlight reels of the matches he's had, has really broken out as one of the new kind of high flyers of the year. And obviously, yeah, if you go with just maybe elevation of where they previously were like a year or two ago, LA Knight might be a front runner for this. We'll see, as far as where he was previously, even Swerve to a degree. So, but I don't know where this is going to go. We'll see.
Burbs.
Yeah, this is one where I'm not sure where it's going to go because only 3 of the 5 here were on my list. I'm a little disappointed that there's no woman on the list, but it is what it is.
I had a woman on my list.
I had a woman on my list. Yeah,
I'm sure we did, but I'm sure that was
Throw
just a little
some-
bit
no,
lower.
feel free to-
Whereas
feel free-
these,
Feel free to
whereas
throw
the
some
5 that
honorable mentions.
got, whereas the 5 that got nominated were just higher ranked.
Feel free to throw out some honorable mentions.
So
All right, well,
I personally had Sky Blue. I think she really broke, especially towards the end of the year. I think she started doing really good. So maybe just not enough throughout the year as a whole. Where some of these people, throughout the entire year were breaking out, especially Damian Priest and LA Knight for WWE. I think Swerve has a real good shot of winning. I'm not sure where this is going to go. Actually,
I even had an honorable mention to a degree, or somebody on my list is not on here. I think to a degree you could argue Logan Paul was a breakout start of the year.
Yeah,
I thought about that.
I thought about him.
Yeah.
And Dominic. I had Dominic on my list.
I had Dominic.
Really, say what you want about him. I think he's doing all the right things as a heel. I think he's going to have a great 2024.
Yeah,
Richie?
I guess to throw out like a honorable in terms of women, I had Tiffany Stratton, NXT champion. She's quite improved as well. She's good. I think she'll do well in the main roster. But I think this list makes sense. Damian Priest, I think he's poised to have a pretty decent 2024. I think he might be on this list again. LA Knight, it's insane however he's gotten. I'm glad. Like he went from that dude went from almost being fired because he got saddled with a modeling gimmick as Max Dupree to like really, people seeing how over he is with like how his charisma, really seeing how charismatic he is. He started off the year being in which unfortunately was like, Bray Wyatt's last match in that really weird, Mountain Dew, whatever that weird match Bray Wyatt had in the Royal Rumble. And it was like, I was like, I don't know if this really helps LA Knight here, but he overcame it and he's really, really good. Trick Williams, he's improved dramatically, and I can't go past my best friend Vikingo. But Swerve, I think, has had a breakout, the most breakout year in my.
You're correct, it's Swerve.
I would have gone there.
I think we're all hoping that he might become world champion next year. He's taken from just being a really like decent mid carder to I think one of the top guys in the company. So yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Most improved, some overlaps between this and the other one, but I think these are all unique nominations. Big Bill, Dominic Mysterio, Julia Hart, Tiffany Stratton, there's your Tiffany, and Trick Williams again. Trick actually did get crossed over.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Barbs.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was my list. I think it's just not in this order, but all 5 of these were people I nominated.
Well, for the record, I didn't want to give anything away. These are literally just alphabetical.
No, I figured they weren't going to be in order, but all 5 of these were people that I nominated. So obviously, I have no issues here. I'm curious to see who takes it. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Dominic. I think he did improve. I think he really came into his own as a heel. I think Julia Hart, she's a champion now, so I mean she's gotten better as the year has gone on. I think you can say the same for any of these guys. Who would have thought at the end of 2023 Big Bill would be a champion in AEW? Yet here we are. So this is one I think could go to any 5 of these people.
Yeah, I think Trick definitely has improved. I think this is the right category for Trick Williams because again, he's a guy that I think on the mic and in the ring was just kind of okay last year. Similar to Julia Hart. And now, if you told me, Julia Hart's a champion, I'm cool with Trick Williams. If he becomes the NXT champion, I'm cool with it. So I think there's definitely improvement there. Tiffany Stratton, I don't know if she. I guess she's improved. I guess she's relatively new. Dominic has just improved on that character so much here. I think that was kind of the only thing missing. I think he's always been kind of solid in the ring, but now he's got something kind of a juicy in a storyline and a group. And Big Bill, I think he started the improvement last year with Impact and has continued in AEW. Richie?
Yeah, not much to add here. I think this is a solid list. I think Big Bill's got a cool story. Went from having like a lot of, I think he could be a decent babyface with push right too. So he had, went from like being, having like a lot of issues, like personal issues, being fired, and then had a really good run on Impact where you're like, man, Big Bill's gotten better. And then he was able to get a job in AEW, and he's having a good tag team run with Ricky Starks. So it actually works. I thought it was a random tag team at first. I'm like, that's gonna work. I'm liking their tag team, so that's good. Dominic Mysterio, yeah, he keeps improving. I think he was on this list last year, which says something. Julia Hart, I know she was on my radar for a while. I noticed improvements like from the middle of the year. I was like, oh, yeah, she's definitely improved in all facets. Tiffany Stratton, she had a good title run, and she's improved a lot, and I like the character work. I think this is Trick Williams to lose, though, in my opinion. I think he's improved a lot, and to the point where it's like, he was, remember this time last year, he was okay, but he was basically Carmelo's sidekick. And now, as you said, I think if he was to be the NXT champion, we wouldn't be out of place. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, if I had honorable, I actually put Tony Storm just because character work. I think she finally found a character, so that's improved in my way.
Yeah,
he's
she
not
never
the only one
crossed
who-
my mind.
No,
they never crossed my mind.
Yeah, I think this one for me, like my top two or so, is like Trick and Dominic. I think just as far as the whole package of being improved, both wrestling wise, character wise, how over they are in different ways. Obviously, Dominic being over as a heel way, way more than he was as a face. He was just boring as a face. Just when your gimmick is just your raised kid, you dress like him, and you do that. As opposed to, I think the Judgment Day stuff, the run with the North American title has really gotten him over. He's got some good ring experience in NXT, and it's kind of the whole package. But same with Trick, who was somebody that wasn't really on my radar, kind of was aware of him, and now this year, a huge improvement and breakout for him too. So but give it the review. What do we got?
Whoop that Trick, Dominic Mysterio.
Hey, he was my number one. There you go.
I had him pretty high too. Yeah, I just think,
too.
like you said, his gimmick was just he's here, he's someone's son, and now like people love to boo him too, which is important. You know what I mean? I think people have fun with that.
Oh yeah,
he was my
moment
number
of the
two for
year.
breakout and improve. So.
For moment of the year, we have Adam Copeland debuting in AEW, the All-In attendance and show. CM Punk returning to the WWE, The Rock returning to the WWE, and Sami Zayn turns on the Bloodline. This one might have been one of the harder ones to kind of calculate because I feel like a lot of different votes here. Richie?
This is not as clear cut for me as this. I think it could go either way. I'll say probably, if I'm being, I'm just guessing, it might not be The Rock returning to the WWE just because it just happened. But it was still a cool moment.
I don't think that's what they meant. I think we're talking about the original return.
Yeah,
Like
the one on SmackDown, the one that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the Pat. With it. Yeah. Okay.
Because the other one would be a 2024 moment.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was. Fucking I forgot. Time, right? Anyway. Adam Copeland debuting in AEW, it was kind of cool. That was really cool. I didn't expect him to go anywhere other than WWE. AEW all in attendance. That's a huge achievement for a company that's only like 5 years old and special. Yeah, like it was a really special show. I'm torn between CM Punk turning to WWE or Sami Zayn turning on Bloodline, because the Bloodline storyline of Sami Zayn was one of the best storylines WWE's done in ages, and it was just built so well. And when he finally hit Roman with the chair, that crowd went off. I think that was so good. And CM Punk turning to WWE, never thought that would ever happen. I think they did. It was really good. Um, I'm gonna go. Sami Zayn turns on Bloodline though. I think it was just a common. It happened at the start of the year, but it was a combination of it was of a really good story, and then it carried on for the kind of the rest of the year. So I'll go
Yeah,
that way.
when voting, it's always important to remember the first half of the year. I feel the first half of the year sometimes gets overlooked because we forget about it. Pez.
No, I have most of these on my list, and yeah, the Sammy one is just unfortunate because we almost forget how crazy that was and how big that was at the beginning of the year. It's almost like when you put together movie lists, your best of the year, you got to go back and remember those early ones and try not to forget about them because there'll be some good stuff there that just gets lost to time. But I certainly think you can't underestimate that. I think with both the Adam Copeland and CM Punk stuff, it was just more of the unexpected nature of both of them. Remember that night when we were watching that pay-per-view and it was like, why is the Christian match in the main event tonight? That's weird. Oh, maybe. And we started to be like, there might be something happening. And then it happened and it was kind of out of nowhere. Same thing with CM Punk, they hit the copyright, you think the show's over and then nope, we're going to swerve you. And I think it threw everybody off as well. That can't be underestimated. Yeah, I'm kind of with Richie. The Rock thing on SmackDown, it was more of like a thing of convenience, a fun moment, but wasn't like life changing, for WWE or anything like that. And sure, certainly Wembley. I mean, seeing AEW in that stadium is certainly a big achievement, at least for them. Just as far as where they've come. So you can't underestimate that either.
Barbarino.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't even think of the all-in AEW Wembley. I didn't even think of that. It's cool, but I might be in the minority where I was like, I'm not as surprised at that. Like, sure, they're a 5-year-old company, but at the same time, when you look at the roster they have and the big names that they have, like it was never like, oh, they're gonna have trouble selling out. I never thought that. But it is good for them. I do applaud them for having a big show like that. It is still a good achievement. But everything else that's on the list was also on my list. The only other difference I had was Jey Uso pinning Roman Reigns. I thought that was a pretty big moment as well. But I think these are all 5 great moments. And yeah, I mean, Sammy turning on the bloodline, even though it happened, almost a year ago now. I think it's a moment that stuck throughout the year. So I wouldn't be surprised with that one. But yeah, I'm curious.
You're correct.
Anything no longer Uso.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me too, I think, just to add on to it, I mean, this was a great long-term story building of Sammy being the lackey to being accepted to turning on Kevin. And this was a real, I think, moment. Like when I look at moments, this is a moment. You know what I mean? Like the Rock thing's kind of fun because every Rock return is fun. 4 days ago it was fun, and the AW thing's kind of cool, but like as far as just the real like succulent, like juicy moment, because the other ones are just simply people showing up. Yeah, this is the top for me, and I think everyone might have been the only one that I think everyone might have had. Everything else, like I said, one of the nominations might have been only because 2 people had it.
Yeah, totally.
Well, now we're going to switch angles to worst angle of the year. Is it Adam Cole, who subs in for MJF? Is it the Devil? Some people didn't like the Devil storyline. Is it Jimmy Uso turning heel for that reason?
No reason whatsoever.
Roman Reigns crossing 1,000 days of champ but barely defending, or Shane McMahon's return. Here comes the money. Pez?
Yeah. So it couldn't have just been my thing that some other people had the same ideas as I did, because a lot of these are on my list for things. I've harped on the Roman Reigns thing a lot. I think these milestones are ridiculous when he's barely defended the title this year. What, maybe 3 times? That's it. 4 times tops. He barely touched the belt, and we're making this big deal about him being champion. That doesn't mean shit when you don't defend the belt. Like, screw that. And the fact they've made it such a big deal with his character, I don't care anymore. It's like, let's just move on to something fresh. The Jimmy Uso thing was just, I just felt like that's never paid off. Like it was just unnecessary at that point. You had both guys who were, you could have just gone with them going, against the bloodline, and him turning again. I feel like that hasn't paid off or went anywhere. The Devil stuff, I'm just not I don't know. Just thought it was kind of flat. It took too long to get anywhere, and just didn't do anything for me. And my God, did the Adam Cole thing? We were all watching most of that together. We were just like, this might be the stupidest thing I've seen all year. Yeah, just subbing in one guy with a worse injury over the other guy might be the dumbest single night booking decision I've ever seen. Maybe the dumbest thing ever. So the Shane McMahon is whatever. Look, he came back and got hurt, whatever. It's Shane McMahon. So that one's not as egregious to me, but yeah, a lot of those are on my list, and I'm glad to see I wasn't the only one if they're on this nomination list. So yeah.
Roman, by the way, just to have funsies, Roman 5 televised, 9 total defenses. Barbara?
Yeah, a few of these are on my list. Adam Cole did make my list, but it was for his feud with Chris Jericho. I thought
that wasn't a great feud at all. No.
Yeah,
it wasn't necessarily. I think it's because of how disappointing it was. It made my list. And I'm glad you knew what I meant, because I definitely said Jey Uso when I meant Jimmy. So I'm just glad I'm glad you knew what I meant. I was just typing, and yeah, these are all bad. The only one I wanted to shout out was Paul White joining Omega, Jericho, and Ibushi for that match. I thought that was pretty bad.
And getting slammed on a car at 50 years old.
I don't get that one though, personally. Why was that so bad?
Because you have this giant roster, and of all the people you pick, you're picking
the guy who could barely
move, who could barely move, and
I don't know. I think that's wrestling logic. They're picking a former world champion and another big guy to fight the big guy in Hobbs. I don't know.
I think they picked him too because Jericho had history because Jericho and Big Show tag champions and shit.
Yeah, so. Just because it makes sense doesn't mean it makes sense.
I thought that was the kind of perfect match to use him in, because he can't do that much. So put him in a 10-man where he doesn't have to do that much.
Yeah, but then he got
He's a former world champion.
It wasn't good, though. It just wasn't good. So
Richie?
I don't care who wins, by the way, because it's bad.
Richie?
The only one I think, I mean, I can't remember all my nominations, but the only one that's not on here that I would sort of shout out, and it's one from NXT. I don't know, like Roxanne Perez wins the championship, and then somehow she like passes out. She passes out, like there's some like medical. She has some medical thing, and then like I don't know, and then like it was like it was played like a shoot for at one point, like what's happened, and then like are they going to follow up at this angle? No, they stripped the title, like they stripped the title of her, and that's when I think Indy Hartwell wins, and then like she comes back and we don't follow up on it. What happened? Nothing. Anyway, that was just, what was the point of that? They could have just, I don't know. They could have had, if she needed to go away, they could have just beat her the next night or something. I don't know. That was a weird way to get the title off somebody that she just won. That was stupid. But yeah, these are all. I mean, Shane McMahon turning. I wouldn't put that there. He got injured, whatever. I mean, look, it's probably harsh, but it was almost like it was almost comical. Oh, almost, just because it's McMahon and his dad tore both quads, and he gets in the ring and he immediately tears a quad, and then you have Snoop Dogg.
I hate to say karma, but
yeah, and you didn't think Shane would come back anyway because he fucking made it. You know, he tried to make himself the
star. Did the Rumble thing, yeah.
Star of the worst Royal Rumble I've ever fucking seen. And yeah, like props to Snoop Dogg for thinking on his feet. Snoop Dogg, maybe a long-term angle is trying to take the Miz seriously after Snoop Dogg pins him, and they were supposed to take him seriously after that.
I would have shouted out, but I didn't put it on the list just because, you know, I don't want to shit on Bray Wyatt, but like that whole Mountain Dew Pitch Black Uncle Howdy thing was really bad too at the beginning of the year. That was really shitty at the Rumble. Yeah, but I didn't want to shit on Bray Wyatt because like there's no point in that.
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, that was bad at the time.
I'm slowly coming around to the idea that, you know, I like Roman Reigns, but yeah, this title reign you're barely defending. It's kind of, at least with like Gunther with his reign, it's like he's defending enough where it's like, you know,
he's defending it a lot. Like he's defended it almost more than anybody. Yeah, I think he's defending it just the right amount of times. Good chunk on pay-per-view, a couple of TV defenses. You know, about once a month or so. Like he's defending it a lot.
And Jimmy Uso turning heel, I defended it at the time, but then as time goes on, I'm like, no, that was pretty bad. I still don't they still haven't even hinted towards that match having the rest of the I mean, we've still got time, but I don't know. And then maybe in relation to that, Jimmy Uso and Cody Rhodes winning the tag titles and then immediately losing them. Why? Anyway, the Devil in AEW, I don't mind it. I think there's circumstances that kind of prevent. You know what I mean? Like it's like if fucking Adam Cole didn't jump off the stage and break his ankles, maybe we'd get to it quicker. And then maybe, but we're still not fully finished because I don't think we'll get the full blow off until both of them are fucking healed. So yeah, that's going to be annoying. But yeah, my nomination is definitely Adam Cole Substitute for Death because I think we were all watching that going, what? This makes no this is so convoluted, makes no sense. So you sub in the guy who's legit got a bung ankle for a guy who's kayfabe injured, and then the guy who's kayfabe injured just drives on in with an ambulance, like he's allowed to do that, and then they just have a match. It's like, well, why didn't you just do the heel thing where it's like, hey, or Jay White goes, oh, I forfeit, you forfeit, and then MJF comes out, and you didn't have to involve Adam Cole at all, but I don't know, and unless in the Devil storyline he convinces Tony Khan, but makes Tony Khan look like an idiot in story and in real life, so for him coming up with storyline. So yeah, my vote would be Adam Cole something.
Yeah, these are all pretty good choices. I don't mind the Devil one, but yeah. I'm in agreement with Roman Reigns. I think I'm over it. I think the title off him was a year ago, or back in March was the perfect time. I still don't think we've kind of capitalized as good on that. And there's been times we needed it too. There's been pay-per-views where it's like, oh, Seth's fighting the same guy again. Man, I wish there was another title. I don't like the Shane McMahon thing either, just because guess what? That means he would have had a win at WrestleMania that he didn't fucking need if he hadn't gotten hurt. The Jimmy Uso thing at first was like, oh, okay, it's another level to the story, but it hasn't really paid off since. He's just kind of a lackey again. It's kind of whatever. But yeah, I agree that injured Cole, so for injured MJF. Does that make sense? And I think I mentioned that Pez too, because we were about to do tournament fights. I loved on Wednesday, a group of people that had been screwed over by the Devil came out. Like, you can't touch Cole. He's not cleared. I'm like, you guys are gonna let him main event.
You guys are gonna let him main event a pay-per-view. What are you talking about?
Like now it's Adam.
Now you care.
Now it's a hardcore rule. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Unbelievable.
Show of the year, was it All In? Was it Forbidden Door? Was it Full Gear? Was it Backlash? Or was it WrestleMania? What do you think, Barber?
I think if we were going just based off the crowd, I'm giving it to Backlash. I think that was the best crowd of the year. I loved the crowd involvement here. Full Gear, though, had some banger matches. Forbidden Door, bangers. I think all of these shows had some pretty memorable moments, and some match of the year candidates that we've already seen. So I don't know which way this is going to go. I know my personal favorite was Full Gear. I think there were just more memorable matches overall on that show. But if any one of these wins, I get it.
Richie?
Yeah. I love WrestleMania. If it was just night one, I would say that'd be a solid choice to win. But I think if you're counting collectively night one, night two, I think night two brings it down a little bit. Because I think
it hurts it when you got to combine them.
Yeah, because Cody should have won. And there's a few other things on the show. I was like, okay, your night one is slash superior.
But Shane McMahon, you guys.
If it was just a night one show, that would have been one of the best WrestleManias. All In, that was a great. The atmosphere is great, and yeah, it was a great show all around. I loved it. Forbidden Door, it's very impressive that I think Forbidden Door was nominated and won last year, and it's nominated again. I think the concept works. It's a really good show, and you can't go wrong with Omega, Ospreay, and there's some other really, really great matches on this card as well. Full Gear surprised the hell out of us. That was on Watch Together. That was great. Like Jake said, Backlash. Backlash. It's goes to show, having pay-per-views outside of the States sometimes helps. And that Puerto Rican crowd, that was they're amazing. And yeah, so I don't know. I at a pinch, I'm gonna go. For the second year in a row, I'll go Forbidden Door.
Because
I was this close to nominating Bad Bunny and Damian Priest for Match of the Year just because of like the crowd involvement and everything, but I didn't. But I was thinking about it.
My thoughts are these are the 5 I nominated, so I'm in agreement with the nominations. But yeah,
this one
really
had too many differences.
Yeah, I think we were all on the same page. Yeah, as far as the ones that really stood out, because with AEW, it was the 3 we picked. I think were the 2 that had like just banger match of the year matches. Match of the year candidates on them, Forbidden Door and Full Gear, and All In just because the atmosphere, the crowd, the setup and everything. Still had really solid matches up and down the card. And the 2 WWE events I think that stood out obviously had. The Cody match ended differently. I think WrestleMania might have taken this category actually, because that was probably one of the best WrestleManias in years. If you looked at it, because after night 1, I think everybody was high. I was like, man, night 1 was great. Like that was like the best night of WWE in like a long time. That was awesome. Even night 2 to a degree had moments. Had that 3-way with Gunther and all that was good. It was rolling along as well. A few wonky things with Shane McMahon. We could overlook that if like it had a whatever. Like WrestleMania always has weird moments, occasionally. But I think we kind of underestimate how good that show was overall. I think everybody just kind of harped on the final, the results of the last match. And you can't underestimate Backlash for having good matches. Again, nothing like match of the year candidate, but crowd of the year. Probably hell yeah. If we had another crowd of the year, Backlash wins. And they made a whole case of. We talked about going back to Puerto Rico every year. They probably should just make Backlash the Puerto Rico pay-per-view from here on out.
That was the one where you went out on a limb. You're like, oh, whatever. You're like, yeah, I think Carlito's coming back. You're like,
Carlito's coming back. It's Puerto Rico, and he came back.
And he came back, and you won the predictions off that. I'm like,
yes.
But no one said Savio Vega, and he was there.
And I wasn't as mad at the time about WrestleMania because I predicted Roman Reigns would beat Cody Rhodes, and he did. And I was the only one who did. So never been against Roman. But JPO, what we got?
No, just throwing my 2 cents. There's not too much of a difference here. I think, as in like just the nominations themselves here, everything was really good here. But the winner was Forbidden Door. Actually, and only in 2 years in a row. Yeah, for me. I'm a big fan of top to bottom, at least personally, and Backlash was fun, but like Cody Brock's is an okay main event. You had to kind of like random 6-man Selena Vega because it's Puerto Rico. Crowd made up for it, but the matches themselves I don't think are as memorable or as good as like Forbidden Door or Full Gear. I think also for me went down the list because the main event is literally worst angle of the year, so it hurts that overall. Like I said, pretty close there. Promotion of the year: AEW, GCW, Impact, New Japan, WWE. Can anyone guess what?
We need it. We can do a total fight.
It's WWE, right, or AEW?
WWE, right?
I mean, AEW had a moment, but I think AEW kind of slipped a bit this year. WWE crushed it. So.
WWE is having the best year they've had in a while, so I think we all kind of agree. Like they're the hottest they've been in probably, I would say 5 to 10 years or something like that. They're the hottest they've been in a while. And I think we all agreed about that. Overall, they've had wonky moments as well. But they've been killing it, especially even with their pay-per-views have been really, really solid up and down the card. So moving on the year.
Yeah, I think it's been relatively smooth here, man. I think outside of like a little bit of looking at the Jay thing, the Roman not defending, everything else has been relatively smooth,
Yeah.
Tag Team of the Years at ABC, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Aussie Open, Fletcher and Davis, FTR, Cash and Dax, Judgment Day, Damian and Finn, or Steen Jericho and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. What you got, Barbs?
Yeah, five great teams here. It's weird not seeing the Usos nominated for. Well, I mean, obviously they haven't been a team for the last half of the year or whatever, but it's just. Yeah, you would think that they'd be a lock for this list every year. But no, I think these are 5 great teams. I think ABC has been doing their thing over in Impact. They're one of the few things about Impact that I will check in on. If I had to choose, I'm going FTR. I think they're just the best tag team on the planet.
This was actually hard because FTR still had a great year, and they're still, I think they're one of the best tag teams on the planet. But like, they didn't have as banger of a year as it did last year, in terms of titles or anything. But like I couldn't really think of any like ones that like had like this you know breakout year other than them. Yeah, obviously, Judgment Day, it turned into a really good tag team. Generico, I just felt that the build up to their tag title win was great. Kind of hoping that their tag title run would be a bit longer, but that is what it is. I mean, maybe I'm biased. I was going to pulling for Aussie Open. I think they're sort of the more breakout because I think people were aware of them beforehand. But I think that they held but like this year they held the New Japan strong title. They held the New Japan the IWGP the normal tag titles at the same time. I think they've really proved themselves. I don't even know if they'll. I'm hoping they'll return to the tag team. I know Mark Davis is injured at the moment. They're using Carl Fletcher a lot as a singles guy. He's the Ring of Honor Television Champion at the moment with the Don Callis family. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, Ace and Bay are a really good tag team. I could honestly, I when I was doing my nominations, they slipped my mind, but they shouldn't have because they're great. I don't mind either of these win, to be honest, but I'm going to pull for Aussie Open because I'm biased.
Pez?
Yeah, I struggle with this category a little bit just because I haven't seen as much of the tag team stuff this year, especially from stuff like ABC or Aussie Open outside the AEW pay-per-views. But to me, it was kind of between FTR and Judgment Day. And really, if I was giving it to it as far as complete package, as far as also kind of hovering around the main events a lot, having a lot to do storyline wise, it would be the Judgment Day. Like I would give it to them because I think FTR had a good first half of the year, and we haven't seen much of them in the back half of the year. They were kind of up and down, really high for a little while, around All In and all that, and then they haven't really done a whole lot in the second half of the year. But Judgment Day has consistently stayed on top of the storylines, on top of the matches, on top of the card. That's who I would give it to. So there you go.
Yeah, no, right on. And Pez, if you see him at your store, let him know they won.
Hey, I'll let Dax know if I see him.
2 years in a row.
Another one. Again, ABC's been really fun. If you're not watching Impact, they're definitely one of the reasons why maybe you should. Aussie Open, I think, again, another one that kind of maybe fell off towards the end just because Davis got hurt and Fletcher is kind of on his own right now. And I didn't see much of New Japan Strong, so. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I think, again, just kind of in the end, kind of short-lived. Like, don't forget, they kind of got back together right before Mania. They were kind of done by the end of summer. So, that's kind of just short-lived. And I think Pez kind of nailed it, at least for me, which is, Judgment Day, I think, almost storyline-wise and promo-wise wins. But I think when it just boils down to tag team, they had that Bullet Club Gold match. They had some really good ones. Even their six-man Final Battle was really good for Ring of Honor. So, FTR did eke it out.
Also, we should mention, speaking of tag teams,
female wrestler of the year. We just got two more.
I should just say, just speaking of tag teams, I should mention it. Sophia is not watching. Private Party came back on Dynamite, so it'd be cool to see them back in the ring because I haven't seen them at Mike Quinn in ages, and they're great. So anyway,
so just two more. Which, by the way, we messed up. We should have done Heel of the Year. We did not do Heel of the Year. So.
That's a good shout.
Because you would have run away with it. Like, there's no sense in doing that if it's just.
I win. Here's the graphic. No, but I think it's just like shout out to Christian or maybe others that would have been maybe.
I think we might have all agreed that it was Christian this year.
Let's just
the best breakout heel.
Heel of the Year.
Christian Cage. There you
go.
For female, we have Asuka, Io Sky, Chris Statlander, Rhea Ripley, and Toni Storm. Richie.
I also think Christian should be Father of the Year. I think like much respect to the other nominees. I think Asuka is always going to be great. She's one of the favorites, and she won the title. I think her title run was pretty not that memorable. Io Sky, she's great as champion. She's she's amazing. Chris Statlander had a good run. She ended Jake Hager's reign in a weird way, but she's had a good run. Toni Storm, great, sort of breakout with her character work. She would definitely be number 2 for me, but I think Rhea Ripley's running away with it. I think Rhea Ripley's one of them, not only on a sort of a break, one of the most popular women in the company. I think she's one of the most, probably the biggest names in wrestling at the moment. She's so so good. She's charismatic, got a great look. Just she works so well with Dominic Mysterio. She fits so well with Judgment Day, and she's just a badass. And she's a great worker as well. Like another match that I had nominated for match of the year that probably just didn't make the cut was when she won the title against Charlotte at WrestleMania. That match ruled. Like she can go real well. Like she had a match like just day one against Ivy Nile. I'm glad Ivy Nile has already given the the platform this early on. Because she's a bit still a bit green, but she made her look really good. So I'm glad that Rhea Ripley's in that position. So I think Rhea Ripley runs away with it.
Piss, do you agree?
I'm pretty much on the same page, Richie. Shout outs to Io and Chris for having breakout years and really getting over in their time. Asuka always reliable. I think I had her on my list as well, just because she's so reliable in the ring and she's still really, really over. But I'm kind of with Richie. I think it's a 2-person race here between Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm. I think if you go match wise, it's probably Rhea because she did have that match of the year candidate. She's had some really good matches on pay-per-view throughout the year. She's always been reliable as champion. Had a really good title run. But if you go character-wise, this last half of the year, Toni Storm has been the most entertaining woman on either roster, and her retooling the character has been one of the cool stories, as far as any of the women's wrestlers. So I think she's given Rhea a run for her money here, at least with this back half of the year. So I wouldn't be surprised if Toni gets the upset here. We'll see.
Barbarina?
For me, I mean, I agree with what you guys are saying about Toni, but for me, it's personally coming down to Rhea and Io. I kind of combined their names there and called them Rio.
Rio, not Rio. We're talking about Rhea and Io.
I think while Rhea hasn't had, I don't think she's had as many matches and hasn't, kind of lacked there. I think what she's done outside of the ring, like with the Judgment Day and kind of being the quote unquote leader at some points, I think she's doing also just incredible character work, and I think the mommy character is really, really good. I think Io inside the ring has been. If we were just doing inside the ring, I'm giving it to Io. I think all of her matches have been at least good. Rhea's matches, some of them have been a little, less than memorable, and that's not her fault. I think they've just booked her to be this force, and it's like, I think they really have to build somebody up to make it believable that they can take her down, and they just haven't done that yet. Whereas I think with Io, I think everyone that she's been in the ring with has been, really good. And shout out to her for doing that spot at War Games. I think that spot, if we were doing spot of the year, I think that's a contender of her just jumping off the cage with the garbage can over her body. Like, oh my goodness, one slip and that's disastrous. So shout out to her for that. It's down to Rhea and Io. But I would give the slight edge to Rhea, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's predicting Rhea because that's a smart pick. It's Rhea Ripley, ladies and gentlemen. Just go back real quick here. It was fun seeing Chris Sandler have a title run, but again, kind of just in the middle, kind of a title run here. I like Io Sky, but I do feel that, I don't know, there's a slight disconnect from making me next level with her. Toni Storm could be 2024/5 winner, but don't forget, kind of if you look at her first half of the year, the Outcast or whatever, just kind of okay. She had a forgettable run before she found this new character. And Asuka also finally had a fun kind of character change. But I think Rhea Ripley, great match with Mania, great character work throughout the year. Even stuff with like Raquel was kind of cool, that 5-way. So Rhea Ripley, female of the year. Last but certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen, male wrestler of the year, Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, Seth Rollins, Swerve Strickland. Let's just start at the top. Barbara, what do you got?
Yeah, these were the 5 for my list. I'm glad none of us put Roman on here like some other.
Who? Who's this Roman you speak of? I don't know who you're talking about.
I think Cody's had
Roman Diaz from Fast and Furious.
Oh, okay.
I think Cody's had a really good year. He didn't finish the story, but he had a great Rumble showing. I think his tag team run was pretty good. All of the storylines that he's been in have been pretty memorable. I'm excited to see where this thing with it's 2024. I'm excited to see where this thing with Shinsuke Nakamura goes. And if he finishes the story, like what does the Rumble look like for him? Gunther, IC champ all year, great. MJF, like I said earlier, I kind of came around on him in the last half of the year. And I think his promo work kind of won me over. His matches, I think he's gotten better. Just doing more. Like I think you had your basic MJF match, and now it's like, oh, what's he going to pull out this time? And so that's really cool. Seth Rollins is Seth Rollins. I think you put him in the ring with anybody, and he's going to deliver. He even made a match with Omos bearable, so shout out to him for that. And then Swerve, I mean, he had several match of the year candidates throughout the year, and I think shout out to him for that.
That's what oh my god! And now Swerve.
So I mean, I could see any one of these five winning, and I'm excited to see who takes it.
That's nasty. Piers?
Yeah, no, I have 4 of these guys on my list as well. Yeah, I think Cody, despite the fact that the Roman thing has not really come around full circle yet, has still managed to be really over with the crowd, stay in kind of that main event picture, have really good matches. So yeah, you can make an argument there. Gunther and Swerve are kind of my top 2 out of this group right here. Like I think Gunther has made that his title kind of the most important title on the roster, through sheer will and defending it a lot and keeping it interesting, having really good defenses as well. And yeah, Swerve, just the breakout year he's had, having must-see matches up and down the year, several match of the year candidates. I even like the other match he had with Adam Page the first match he had. I thought that was the best match, even better than the Danielson and Zack Sabre that night. Like I'd like the Swerve Page match even more. Maybe interested in everything he's done. Seth's been reliable. I mean, even with his injury, so I can't argue with that. And MJF has certainly proved himself to be a top-level champion and a seller. The only person I had on my list that I would have added to this that I did was Ilya Dragunov. I think Dragunov has not gotten the credit for being a damn fine NXT champion, having really, really good matches every time he has a main event title defense or whatnot, like you said, the match with Dijak, the match with Carmelo Hayes where they beat the shit out of each other. That match was great. And I'm looking forward to he's fighting Trick Williams soon, right? So
they're building up to it. I think he's probably going to fight Ridge Holland before that.
Okay,
they're building towards that.
Don't get injured.
But it's Trick Williams is first.
Yeah, I was saying he's got a match with Trick coming up, right?
It's Trick Williams first.
New Year's Eve.
Oh, really?
It was supposed to be this week, and then they sold him. He's still injured from Rage.
Yeah. But I think he's, again, been one of the most consistently entertaining guys to watch in the ring. And much like Gunther, it's almost to the point where I watch all of his main events because I just think every one of his matches feels like a fight. They're fun to watch. And I think he's a hell of a guy who should be on the main roster this year probably at some point. So, I would have added him.
Also, shout out Will Ospreay.
I just don't see him on TV or pay-per-view enough. Yeah, it's just it's inconsistent. It's so inconsistent. Yeah.
When he signs, I could see him next year definitely being more because, like Pez said, I need to see more of him before he would have been on my list. Richie.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, in terms of character work, another breakout person, just because I think he's better suited, I may have nominated Braun Breaker, just because I think he's way better suited as a heel, and he's fucking great. He's great. I think his bland is babyface. But anyway,
did you go back 8 categories now? What?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I just came to me now. But this is a great list. The only other one I had, just because I think he's doing the best work of his career, and so late in his career. But I don't think I wouldn't have nominated him to actually win the thing. But I had Christian, and I think Christian's been great.
Corbin, what?
I think Christian's been so great. I think he still has pretty decent matches, and his heel work is phenomenal. I always tune in to see what Dastardly think he'll do next. I fucking love him, but in saying that, the only one if Cody had finished the story, I might have put Cody there. The other one, it's pretty hard for me otherwise. I think Seth Rollins. I don't know. I don't know, like Seth Rollins, it's hard. Like, he's had really banger matches, but like, I don't know. Just think the other three may have stood out more to me. So yeah, I'm gonna go Swerve as well. In any other year, I think he's had a huge breakout year. Like yeah, he hasn't won a title yet, but like, dude, I think he's definitely what the one where like has had the best year beyond like having a title. So in my opinion, it's probably between MJF and Swerve. I can Gunther's great, but I just think those two stand out the most. So, but I'll go Swerve.
Yeah, good years by everybody here. I mean, Cody, I think I agree. If he had finished the story, maybe had a nice little run, I think he would maybe be the front runner here. Instead, he didn't finish the story. He had kind of a decent feud with Brock, kind of a meaningless tag title run. And, Shinsuke feud has been fun, but again, I don't know if it's of the year fun. Gunther's been great with the IC title here. He's another one where, hey, if he ends up being world champ next year, I'll be totally cool with that as well. MJF has, I think, had a great year. Don't forget he went an hour with Bryan Danielson. He went 30 with Adam Cole, 30 with Kenny Omega. You know what I mean? He's really proved, that fun four-way, that he was a worthy enough champion. Seth Rollins, every month I kind of wished that he had lost the title. I'm not totally mad that he didn't lose the title here because I kind of wanted to see Finn get some love or Shinsuke get some love. But Seth has held on to that World Heavyweight title for a while.
Or have Damien cash in and get some love, something
Damien,
like that. Yeah,
like I said, it's weird that I keep hoping for him to lose the title, but I do like him.
Right.
He is super over for a reason. Swerve, already our breakout champion, has had a great year, and I think Swerve, again, might be very much a nominee for next year, and we could take it. But this year, Richie. Yeah, the other one you said. He does eke it out here because again, this one was hard because I feel like everyone had their ups and downs. Weirdly enough, for male wrestler of the year, and but headlining the biggest show of the year as well. Forgot to even say that. Biggest attendance of the year for AEW MJF.
Yeah, I think because personally, I would over MJF, I would have Gunther, but I think what just holds him back is I think he had that string where he wasn't on those premium live events, and I think that kind of hurt him a little bit. Whereas MJF obviously was the focus for most of the year in AEW. So
yeah, literally held the title. I mean, up till just a couple days before the year ended because he was a champ before 2023 began.
Yeah,
and right. Gunther also had matches where he should have squashed people, but then he ended up having to sell to the Miz. So
Leave the Miz. You literally just contradicted yourself. Before you were like, show some respect to the Miz, Snoop Dogg, and now you're like, fucking.
No, I didn't. I think you misunderstood what I was saying.
No, he was saying Snoop Dogg beats the Miz, and they were supposed to take Miz as a serious contender to Gunther. That makes no sense.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what.
MJF, by the way, does hold the current record actually at 406 days. Closest to that is Omega 346.
Omega, yeah.
Page only had 197.
I think Moxley has the shortest.
Moxley has Moxley has 277. Oh, I'm
well,
sorry.
Overall, I think
Punk has the shortest, right?
Punk
technically
Punk's second reign.
Yeah. So
Punk's second reign.
It's weird that they haven't done very many transitional champions in the 5 years that they've been.
I'm very happy they don't. That's something.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the only transitional you could kind of say Moxley only had for 2 months when he lost to MJF. Punk doesn't count because that was a weird thing. I mean, Moxley technically 11 days for a second reign. Actually, that's pretty transitional.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is they haven't other than that they haven't done it all.
Well, no, I'm saying
Idol has had a good reign.
Yeah.
What I found interesting is when Adam Cole's getting that promo, oh, this person's going after this title. No one wanted to go after the TNT title. And so,
well, they don't have enough.
No, I don't know, but I don't know. They prioritize bigger title than TNT, I guess. But I know.
Well, it also just makes sense, baby face heel wise. They're not going to fucking fight Christian. Who you going to work for?
I know. I just think the rules with TNT are confusing because it's people fight for a title for a shot at the title to get it, but then there's you get champions or whatever to defend it every week. So it's why do I have to wrestle for a title shot when you put out open challenges?
Well, that's just wrestling in general, man. there's been so many titles over there. It's just the rhyme or reasoning as to who gets a title shot and when. You know what I mean? They've even crowned number one contenders before, and then there's been other teams that have gotten shots before them, and I'm like, well, why they're not number one contender? They're number two contender. They're number three contender then.
Well, yeah, when Young Bucks won the number one contender spot, I think they forgot that they even won that match. So they had to do that. They had to do that. That's when they were like, oh yeah, well they did that storyline with Omega and Jericho. Then Omega got sick.
I think they should just determine challengers the way Orange Cassidy does. Somebody's doing a backstage interview, and they say, "Hey, I want a shot." All right, see you on Wednesday.
I heard you. It's on.
See you Wednesday.
If the year, look, I'll say this: if a year was only 6 months or 8 months, I would put Orange Cassidy. I'd nominate Orange Cassidy as one of the wrestlers of the year. He was having a great. His first run as a potential champion was fucking great.
I think that could have been warranted if someone if we had done it.
If we did like a heel of the year, face of the year, I'm nominating Orange Cassidy for face of the year. I think he's just great. I'm not sure I'd want him to win. I don't know. I'd have to think about it, but I think Christian is like overwhelmingly heel of the year. Whereas face of the year, I think you have a few options.
I mean, you'd nominate Swerve for heel, but like it's like he still gets cheered even when he breaks into someone's house and then
there's so much gray and black. Like we joked on World's End, like if Rio the face had won, she would have been booed the fuck out of the building. There's so much weirdness with baby faces and heels now. Like Blackpool Combat Club, we always joke, what are they? You know what I mean?
Well, I think
ask me.
Hey, are they heel or face?
Yes.
Okay. I think wrestling fans just appreciate, with Tony Storm, they're just like, well, yeah, you're heel, we're meant to not like you, but we appreciate your character work. So
you're entertaining. You're entertaining.
Yeah. So I was just saying before, like she Tony Storm, to see on Dynamite, Tony Storm goes, Renee asked, are you going to stay back and watch Mariah May's match? And she's like, no, I don't watch wrestling.
I don't watch wrestling.
I'm in New Jersey. I need to be in New York. I got to know Broadway.
And now she's abbreviated to just chin, tits, shoe.
And if they push her right, Donna Purrazzo might be on this list next the end of this year because she's really good.
We'll see. I also would have thought that for Taya Valkyrie and Madison Rain and Mercedes Martinez.
Madison Rain.
I don't know. They hyped her like she was like, oh shit, it's Madison Rain, and then never mind.
I don't know why. I mean, she's a veteran, but I don't know why you'd hype her that.
I'm saying the way she came in, they definitely made it seem like she's about to.
You could have said, well, it seemed like Willow was going to be posed for like a big, run too. Yeah. And that kind of fizzled out a little bit.
I think they're still getting there. That's why I was the only one that knew I thought she was going to win against Chris because they kind of had positioned it to where
Or maybe Athena if more people could see Ring of Honor.
I think Athena might because she's done so good in Ring of Honor that I think there's a good chance. Like, oh shit, all right, let's put you over here now. Doing so good.
But, shout out to all the winners of the prestigious Lonely Marquees.
The Lonelies and the Marquees.
The Lonelies and the Marquees.
Yes, you've won twice on one night. That's all. Mm-hmm. But no, this was fun. Get back to it. All four of us hanging out. Of course, Austin and I won the predictions for World's End, so we'll.
Okay, don't keep going on about it. You know what I mean? Like,
we'll discuss. Hey! Just because you didn't win this time.
I mean, I wasn't even close. At least
you weren't even close. So you know what? It's not your turn to talk. There we go. Haha. It's mine and Austin's turn. I think JPO might be frozen. We'll think about what we want to do. And actually, if you have something in mind already, then feel free to do yours next week. Because I was thinking, and I want to give people some time because I thought it would be a fun idea. Because we haven't done very many tier rankers, but tier ranking every single Royal Rumble might be a bit too much because there might be some that you don't remember as much.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it might be fun if we did a tier ranker of the 2000s Royal Rumbles. So from 2000 to 2009. I think that's like my favorite era of the Rumbles. I think just those matches are
And
all
most of
really
those
solid.
I remember and could talk about.
So
Pay-per-view
and
by
even if you
pay-per-view.
don't like, that's why I
Yeah.
said in a couple weeks, it would give people some time to catch up, like if they needed to watch some. But it's just the match itself. It's not the whole pay-per-view, just the Royal Rumble match. But yeah, Pez, feel free to think of something. Let us know, unless you already have it. If not, just let us know in the chat, and we'll.
Well, I did have something in mind, so I figure we've gone back and done some retro, pay-per-views from WWE, from ECW, from WCW, everything in between. We have not gone back and watched the TNA pay-per-view. And no, don't get scared already. I was going to pick a good one, not a bad one. Or at least one that's
2011.
Well, at least one that's that is highly rated that maybe I'm not as familiar with, but I want to dig in and find out. So I do know that there was a series of pay-per-views in 2009, right before Hogan and Bischoff got there, that are pretty highly rated. And I had a feeling that. They did have it. It was kind of early in the year 2009, so it kind of fits with this. Let's watch Turning Point 2009, which is on YouTube, which features the rematch. And we'll see if it holds up a candle to the original match of AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe versus Christopher Daniels when they did a rematch of their three-way. Because we've all seen the 5-star match from was it Unbreakable?
Yeah,
2005. We're all familiar with that. That match is great. We all know that. I have not seen this rematch that highlighted that pay-per-view when they did it. I've heard good things. And also, I'm not as familiar with just 2009 TNA and this little last run they did before everything went to shit with Hogan and Bischoff. But apparently they were pretty high up. They were doing really well. So yeah, there's a Kurt Angle Desmond Wolfe match, aka Nigel McGuinness. So we can go back and watch.
That match is great.
Yeah, so yeah, there's some good stuff on here, and yeah, this is right before they got taken over. So I want to go check it out, and I'm interested in this pay-per-view. So it's on YouTube and in full quality, so everybody can check it out. But yeah, let's dive into that. We haven't dived into TNA at all. So and JPO may have more knowledge and Richie of what was going on at the time. If they can fill us in, a little backstory going into it or something like that. So. What was going on? But yeah, let's do TNA Turning Point 2009. We're gonna do a little retro review next week. So yeah, and again, I haven't seen it, so but it's very highly rated. Those two matches are highly rated. Let's see if it holds a candle to the original one, and dig into some TNA. Why not? Throw it out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
maybe Victory Road just has a bad rap because that one.
Hey man, I've been to 2 of those. I've been to 2 Victory Roads.
I was at one of them, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back next week and we'll discuss some TNA. But between now and then, JPO, what do you got going on?
Yeah, shenanigans have been going back up at the Periscope. We're gonna do some 2023 movie trivia now that you reminded me.
Oops.
Set that up for next week, as well as we're beginning the yearly singles tournament. Will begin pretty soon as well. I think everyone but Barber signed up, and
I don't like losing in the first round.
And the shenanigans over at the Pierce Wrestling will continue as well. I believe we have the Intercontinental title being defended tomorrow.
All right.
Rich is going to fight for it.
I'll get my answer in for the movie one already. Meg 2, The Trench. There you go. I'll win.
The question was going to be, The Trench is the subtitle to what movie?
Okay. Damn. Well, yeah. Yeah. Find me during the wrestling trivia. Find me. A tournament fight. A championship round. 2005 tournament fights tomorrow. I'm sure. What won the first round, by the way? How typically.
Sky High won part 1, and then part 2 is
Batman.
Batman Begins. So
Two
there you
super
go.
movies.
Fair enough.
So 2,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool. Yeah, so I'll be on there.
Let's go.
Yeah, and and then all around the other trivia spaces here and there, and back here talking Turning Point. And should be fun times.
And just whatever other news pops up in the week or whatever current events are going on. Yeah, that sort of thing. The usual.
Yeah, maybe some more
Usual
Royal
shenanigans.
Rumble news coming.
Yeah, we
I
might
think
get
they're
some.
supposed to have tomorrow night. I think, unless I'm mistaken, I think they might be having that triple threat to see who faces Roman.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll have some. We'll start getting an idea of what the Royal Rumble card might be like, at least the undercard. Of what that might be like. So we'll talk about it. Cool.
Pez, what else you got going?
Yeah, no. After that, that tournament tomorrow night, since it'll just be a half bracket, Wolfman and I might go live on his channel, Mega Movie Z, and do a double horror review of Founders Day and Night Swim. So that should be fun. 'Cause he's seeing it tonight also, and we both went to the Regal Mystery movie and saw Founders Day. So we might just do a double review just for a little bit. Do that. I'll let Jacob talk more about it, but a podcast about movies will be returning whenever Rankum is over. I don't know when it'll be over. We'll go sometime live after whenever it's done. I'll keep an eye on it and just I'll be on Ryan Permison's Meaning of Fandom that night waiting for you to get done. So I'll just be hanging out waiting for you to get done. You can let me know and then I'll get off of there. Just talking about stuff. And then we've got Seen and Heard trivia on Sunday night. A couple of these guys doing some comedy, all comedy all the time. So lots of comedy Seen and Heard. So there you go.
Like you said, a podcast about movies will return on Saturday after Rankum, where we're kind of doing our 2023 wrap up. So after you listen to me gush about my top 12 of the year, you can hear me talk about what else I liked from 2023, including some first time watches from previous years, as well as just some physical media pickups.
I already got my physical. I got a whole stack of shit over here to show off, so that'll be a big segment. We already said behind the scenes, me and Jacob, it might be the only one we do this month, and then we'll come back for February. So it'll probably be a long show, but we'll pack a lot of content in there. We'll talk about a lot of stuff, so we got a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, so you can catch us there, and then that's about all I've got going so far. I've discussed doing another show over on my personal channel, but now I've got some other things happening in my personal life where that's kind of taken a back burner. JPO and I did do an episode, so if you just search my name on
wait a minute, your multi-time a week show's already on hiatus?
It is just because there's just some personal things. As of tomorrow night.
Hey, no, Jacob's just going to finish the story at some point. The story's not done.
Yeah, I'm
just going to finish the story. All right, it might take a year, but he's going to finish the story. Okay,
because as of tomorrow night, I will be unemployed, and I need to figure that out. So, So just personal things. I'll pop up on tournament fights and tier rankers from time to time. I've got I'm on the Johnny Depp.
Well, yeah, you have to be on the Johnny Depp one. You got to be my co-host for that one because Jordan's not even here, so you're going to co-hosting that one.
Yeah, right. So, and then next week we'll come back. We'll talk some Turning Point. I'm excited to watch that one because
and I just double checked to make sure. I don't want to leave you guys saying yes. It's on YouTube for free in HD. The whole thing. just YouTube TNA Turning Point 2009. It's right there. Full thing, so just to make sure, because they have put a bunch of pay-per-views up for free, especially their past ones, so that's nice of them. I appreciate that. I don't have to subscribe to their streaming service to watch it. I appreciate that.
Right.
They put a bunch of episodes on there for free too, like just random episodes. So
there you go. Yeah.
And the Will Ospreay Mike Bailey match. So this was a lot of fun. Catch us next week. And then all the tournament fights and tier rankers that happen, Seen and Heard, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. So for JPO, for Pez, I am Jacob. This has been the Lonely Marks, and we will see you next week.
Well, now.